What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and all the naughty kids around the world? And yes, it's that eccentric time again to do a fans questionnaire to me from my Facebook. So yeah, if you are not on my Facebook, make sure you go there and like my page. So whenever I feel eccentric, I might ask you to give me some questions regarding astrology. So today's questionnaire it comes from Mr. Robert Mick something. I don't want to say his last name, but he's just Robert Mick. You want to find out, you can go ask him his last name. But I asked him, I was feeling eccentric because I was drunk. So I'm like, hey, give me 5 questions. See, this is why you should like the fact that I drink. Because if you catch me at a right time when I'm drinking, oh man, is that like a gold stock market for you that day? So his first question is, can you explain Lakshmi Yoga? So Lakshmi Yoga. Lakshmi Yoga is formed when Lord of the ninth house is exalted or in its own sign or in its Mool Trikon sign in Kendra or Trikon. And the ascendant Lord also has to be strong with it. Okay, so I'll give an example. If let's say Scorpio ascendant, Moon becomes Lord of the ninth house, and if Moon is in the ninth house or in the 7th house where it's exalted in the sign of Taurus, that becomes a Lakshmi Yoga. So what happens is if it's in the 9th house, it becomes a Dhan Yoga and Lakshmi Yoga at the same time, very powerful one. Okay, and what it'll do, it'll give you money through higher education. It will give you wealth through higher education, higher knowledge, following the scriptures. If it's in the 7th house exalted, it shows you're going to gain a lot through your spouse. Whether your spouse will bring in a lot of money through dowry, whatever, or her parents might help you for your business, or your husband, so as soon as you marry your husband, businesses goes up, so you gain wealth through him. So that becomes a source of that wealth. So 9th house has to be either strong, like as exalted, or in its own sign, or in its own Mool Trikon sign, and ascendant. So in our example, Mars should be in Kendra or Trikon with the 9th house. That's when a true Lakshmi Yoga is formed. But if Mars was in like Upachya house, the Drishtana houses, and then Moon was exalted, then it's really becoming weak, because the Lord of the Ascendant, who's controlling your entire life, who controls every single aspect of your life, is becoming weak. Then that Lakshmi Yoga will be, it won't be good. But like if you give an example, Bill Gates 9th house as Mool Trikon sign, Saturn there. Saturn is in the 5th house, exalted, with the Mool Trikon sign Lord Venus there. So it's Dhan Yoga, but it also creates a Lakshmi Yoga for him. But here's another thing you got to remember. Make sure that that planet is not a functional malefic. The 9th house. The ascendant can be a functional malefic, like Libra or Scorpio ascendant. Both Mars and Venus are going to become functional malefic. That's fine. And in those cases, if Mars was in its own Mool Trikon sign in the 6th house, then it's fine. Then it's strong. Okay. But if the 9th house is a functional malefic, then the level of Lakshmi Yoga is decreased. Unless it receives a benefic aspect or benefic, it forms another benefic yoga in the Nimansha chart, then it can neutralize it and bring it up. But if you in 9th house is functional malefic, like for Cancer ascendant, Jupiter becomes a functional malefic because it rules the 6th house. But it's also the 9th house lord. And if Jupiter was in the 9th house or in the ascendant exalted, it wouldn't really be that true Lakshmi Yoga. Because it's still going to bring debt. It's still going to bring enemies who might take your wealth. It's going to bring diseases that will take away your wealth. So you'll get money, but it'll also take it away from you just as quickly. But what you have to look for is the 9th house of functional malefic, and this becomes quite important. So the next question comes: how to assess a chart to determine the right I'm sorry. The second question is how to assess a chart to determine the number of children one will have and the gender of each child. Well, here's the thing about this. The very first rule in Jyotish is that you do not tell somebody what kind of a child they will have. They will have a male child or a female child. You do not tell them how many kids they will have. 4 kids, 5 kids, because if I'm doing this consultation and this question is asked with me or I just see it myself, I should not say it, because you do not know the other person, what they're thinking, how they grew up. Maybe having all male children in their family is a really good thing and they're stupid enough to believe that, and so their whole belief system is like, oh yes, male child, male child. While without them asking, the astrologer looks and say, yeah, I see 3 female girls. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have 3 female girls. So if astrologer automatically tells them that's not good, if a person asks them themselves, what they're doing, they're forcing their will upon you. They're like, you tell me what I'm gonna have. And when your answer is not satisfied to theirs, yeah, they're not gonna like it. And it can psychologically screw them, like, oh my God, I'm gonna have women and girl child, and I'm such a moron to believe in such things, but still I want to believe it because my family is full of douchebags. So yes, that does happen. But the way to determine the sex of a child is, I'll tell you this, is that first you gotta, let's say there are several ways to find this. The first way is usually like, let's say if you want to find out, let's say you give me a chart and you ask me, is this a chart of a male or female? That's another thing. Like, I will look at the ascendant and the ascendant degrees, and then I'll go to my table. So it says if you're an Aries ascendant, then from 0 to 1.5 degrees of ascendant can produce a female child, while moon is in this nakshatra. Or if you have degrees from, if your ascendant degrees is from 7 degrees to 7.9 degrees, you will be a female. This will be a female chart. So that's one way. But to determine the kids, the gender, and how many kids, you first look at the 5th house. You look at the lord of the 5th house. Is that lord masculine, feminine, or neutral? Neutral are Mercury and Saturn. Okay. Then you look at the masculinity of the sign that they're placed in. Are they in Aries? Are they in Scorpio? Because one is a male, the other is a female. Okay. And then you assess from there. Okay, so what's happening? Or a 5th lord is sitting in conjunction with a female lord, and while they're the male planet, that's one way to look at it. If the 5th house is carrying male and female planets, or 2 male planets, 1 female planet, that's one way to see it. But this is the first layer. This is the first layer. Then you go to the Saptamish chart. You go to the Saptamish chart, which is a D7 chart. You look at the 5th house there. You look at the condition of the 5th house. What's happening? What sign? Is it a masculine, feminine? Is it a masculine, feminine planet? And whose are they in conjunction with? Is there any conjunction on it? Is there any aspect on it? So it's a very tedious work. But over time, astrologers can see it and look at it. You have to go through like 4, 5, 6, 7 different steps to look at it. But the thing is, there are certain things that I don't want to teach people, because then they misuse it. Like when you will die, how long your life is, if you will have children, if you won't have children, if you will have a female child or all male child. These are the things that I kind of stay away from, because these are the things that, like, or wealth, even wealth. I don't really tell somebody like, oh yeah, you're not going to have money. Well, imagine if they have this idea and they're working hard towards it. Oh yes, one day I'm going to be a Ambani, one day I'm going to be a Bill Gates, I'm going to kick all their asses. While this person literally is going to be just penniless and struggling all their life. Why would you want to tell them that? Now, there are some morons out there in India who do this, who, like, if you saw my Jyotish principle video, you're going to die here, you're never going to have money, you will never have this, you will always have female child, you will be barren of male child, blah, blah, blah. So I won't do that, and neither will I teach. But these are some of the ways that I just gave you a clue on how to look at the fact that will it be a female child, male child, or what kind of, how many children you will have. Because the degrees come into play in all of these scenarios. The degrees, that's the most important part. What degrees it's at. Okay, so then the next question comes in. Can you assess a chart to determine the right? How could you assess a chart to determine the right time to start your career, your anything good in your life, like if you want to start anything good that's happening in your life, well, my dear, for that you have to learn about Hora of the moon and Hora of the sun concept. So yes, as I was saying, in order to see what time you should start something, you should always look at the Hora chart, okay? Because Hora chart will show which houses you have control over, that you are driven towards, and which houses you really are, you're going to have to work really hard, you're going to have to struggle towards, and they won't come easy to you, and you'll be like, ugh, I don't really care about these houses, okay? So if you were born in the Hora of the moon, that means the first house, fourth house, eighth house, 10th house, and 11th house become kind of like your goal. Like you'll be very career oriented and you'll be excelling towards it. In home life, you want to make sure that your house is beautiful, big, everything is balanced in home. Your eighth house, meaning that your health will be robust. You will be able to control any sudden events that comes in, and you kind of take that as a challenge when they come in. And the career and the 11th house becomes a house of resources and gains and your status. You really are able to control those things. But if you were born in the Hora of the moon, then the houses that kind of become a struggle for you and you just have to fight it all the time is the second house, house of savings and money. It's family, family history, dealing with family. The fifth house of education and children. Okay, seventh house of spouse and marriage, and ninth house and 12th house of higher learning and spirituality. These houses then become your challenge. Where in Hora of the sun, if you're born, then the second house, fifth house, seventh house, ninth house, and 12th house become quite an achievable goal for you. Like, yeah, I can handle my spouse. I can, no matter what the spouse is saying, I can handle it. I can take care of the marriage. And yes, I graduated. I got my bachelor's. I'm working on my master's degree. And, I respect my dad and I respect, my teachers. And yeah, I'm quite spiritual. I give donations. I'm spiritual. I, do good things. But the things that I'm just not in control of is my status in society, is my home life, is my gains in network and earnings. So depending upon Hora of the sun and Hora of the moon, these houses will become a challenge versus an ease for you. So then you look at what nakshatra you were born into. So if you were born into moon, let's say your moon nakshatra, whatever your moon nakshatra is, like say Ashwani, okay, you were born in Ashwani nakshatra. So what you will do, you will wait for the time when moon is in Ashwani nakshatra and is in the houses controlled by your Hora. So if you were born in the Hora of the moon, then you should start where moon is placed in houses controlled by Hora of the moon, but at the same time, it should not be Dhisthana houses. They can be Kendra houses. So wait, Kendra Trikon. So if today is Ashwani Nakshatra happening, and you're a moon nakshatra guy, and so wait till moon is either in the ascendant, in the 4th house, 10th house, or 11th house to start your project. Because your own nakshatra will be a very beneficial nakshatra to you. Okay? So this is how you do it. And if you're born in the daytime or nighttime, that's another thing. So if you're born in the nighttime, then wait till the nighttime to start something. If you're born in the daytime, wait till daytime. Okay? Regardless of the Hora of the sun or moon. Hora of the sun and moon you can use for the houses where the planet transits. So you can start something. But if you were born in the daytime, wait till you do something in the daytime. If you're nighttime, start something from nighttime. And if you were born in the sunrise or during the twilight, then you can also use the house 3 and 6 because that's where Mercury becomes really powerful. And the other thing you have to remember is what Hora that day is running, meaning that what planetary hour is running. And depending upon that, the type of work that you're starting, the type of event you're starting, wait till that hour also. Like each hour, let's say in the morning, the very first hour might be ruled by the sun. Then the next hour is ruled by Mercury. Then the next hour might be ruled by Venus. So let's say in that day you want to get a job. Okay. So that means if you want to send a resume on the very perfect time, like your nakshatra and the moon Hora or sun Hora placement of your moon and then waiting for the hour, then make sure that you send during the hour where that planet signifies what you're trying to do. If you're going to propose to your girl and you want to make sure that it's the right time, make sure that you do it in the hour of Venus. It might be 7 in the morning, it might be 6 in the evening. Okay, wait till that hour that comes. You want to apply for a job, wait till the hour of the sun. Okay, because sun is the karka of work. You want to get a promotion, wait till Saturn, hour of the Saturn, because Saturn represents your boss. You send that to your boss. You go to your boss and say, I need a raise during the hour of Saturn. It might help you, but you have to look at the hour. And this is another way to see why you get Sunday, and then after the Sunday you get Monday, and after Monday you get Tuesday. Why do you get that? Because in the 24-hour time period, whatever planetary hour ends before the sunrise and the next one begins, that day is controlled by that Hora. So Tuesday, when they decided, on Tuesday when you see, the very first hour will be controlled by Mars. This is why the entire day is controlled by Mars. It becomes Tuesday. Then the last Hora will be controlled by Mercury. Or after the last Hora of the Mars, the next Hora will be controlled by that 1 hour of Mercury. So it becomes Wednesday, Mercury, all day. So all of these things has to be synchronized to see what is the good thing to do, what is a bad thing to do. But obviously you cannot send out your resume at night because you were born at night. In that time, you will just have to do it through common sense that, hey, in the morning, I should talk to my boss. But yeah, maybe you should send the resume out in the evening. Okay, maybe you can do that because, hey, you can send out, but use your logical mind too. That, can I go to my boss at like 11 in the evening to ask for, a raise or a promotion? No, wait till the daytime when you're at work, but just wait for the hour of the Saturn. And this way, when you go, the hour of the boss is running, and you can, you'll get what you need. You'll get what you want. So, but I'll discuss the Hora chart with you guys in the coming weeks or so, because it's very important when you're judging how to do, when to do, what to do. But it's a good start that you get. And then the last but not least, second last question is, can you give an overview of Jaimini astrology and how different is it from formal astrology? Well, I am just starting to study Jaimini astrology, so I will not say anything about it. Jaimini astrology deals with the fact that certain houses will aspect certain other houses, not the planets. Planets do not have aspects. And Jaimini usually always relies upon the karkas. Karka for father, karka for mother, karka for this, karka for that. And so if, let's say, like mutable signs will always aspect the other mutable signs. And then you will use the Yogini Dasha and Chara Dasha in Jaimini astrology. Which once I've learned it, that's when I'll say anything about it. Otherwise, I have no authority to say it. The one who you can go to learn about this is one Paul Manley. He is an expert. He studied under the master of Jaimini astrology, K.N. Rao. So you don't want to deal with me in that, okay? Then the last question is, would you consider offering a sweepstake in which you select a viewer to do a live consultation with the astrologer you do the interview with? Well, here's the thing. I thought about this and it's not good. You don't want to do live consultation of somebody out in the world. Oh, well, yeah, you're going to have trouble with this. It's like you're telling their entire history in front of the world. You don't want them to know them. What if in India they're going for an interview and their boss suddenly comes up on their video oh, he is Mangalik. Oh, he is Pitra Josha. Oh, he has this. Oh, Khalsar Yoga. Oh my God. Okay. I may have to let this person go. You see what I'm saying here? You can't do that. It's just not right for anyone. Even if the guy who agrees to do this is still not right. But so it's just, yeah, it's a very iffy situation. So that won't happen. So guys, this was my little answer for you guys from the question that you've asked. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your planets are placed, where your conjunctions are, what Hora you were born into, check out the link below. Check out my book there, Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you a link to look at your own chart, and make sure that you go on Lulu on March 17th, where my book, Conjunction at the Speed of Light, will be released soon in the morning. Bye-bye.